Hello and welcome. It is England 2, Sweden 0. Well, what can you say? What can you say about that? Fantastic result. Squeaky bum performance. I think so anyway. For large parts of the first 20 minutes was very, very nervy, but I don't want to get overly analytical about it. I'm somebody who's naturally quite cautious. So all through this, I've sort of tried to treat the whole football's coming home thing with a little bit of distance. And, you know, don't get too excited when we win. Don't get too low when we lose. But I think you've got to allow yourself a little tinge of excitement, maybe, because England are in a World Cup semi-final. And it's been a long, long time since we were able to say that. 1990, in fact. And actually, I do remember it. I remember watching that game, that semi-final game. I was around a friend called Stephen Cripps's house. And we sat there and I must have been 15, 16. And we sat there and watched it with his dad. And it was heartbreaking stuff. But alas, we didn't go through. But I just remember it was almost a catalyst for the Premier League was about to start or had just started, and football really sort of took off after that. The whole country got excited, caught the football fever, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it's been a long and rocky road since then. And I'm not for a moment saying England are definitely going to win it. But what I do know is when any tournament, be it football or anything else, is down to 4 teams, we've got to be in with a shout. Sweden are a tough nut to crack. Really, really defensively resolute. And we put 2 goals past them. We look absolutely brilliant for set plays. It's quite funny, actually, because we've decided to play a certain way, and I've been the biggest critic of it. But you can't really complain. Most people would have taken a semi-final finish at this World Cup, but I don't think we stop here. I don't think Gareth Southgate wants to stop here. And why shouldn't we allow ourselves a little dream? We've got Croatia and Russia coming up. I think we all expect Croatia to win in that game. And they're a very, very technically gifted team. But so many of the big teams are out. They're gone. The chance is anyone's. Anyway, who is joining me in the chat? Let's have a quick look on here. I know a couple of people were waiting. Hello, everyone. Clayton, hello, mate. I saw you on the forum, and we were chatting during the game, weren't we? Hammer Down Under, he said, Gonzo's caught World Cup fever. I'm afraid I have. I definitely have. I've got the snivels and everything. Was complete domination, says Michael Cadwalder. Hello, my friends. And we've also got Chris Alfie Hammer in the chat as well. I'd just like to say, if you did want to join me, so for instance, if Mike, you're watching this, or if Mr B is watching this, in fact, if anybody else that has access to Google, if just a Google account, I can send you a link via Twitter or something else, and you can come in and join me and give me your opinions live. So I'll keep checking my Twitter DMs every so often. If someone wants to join me, I'll send you the link, and you can give me your opinions on exactly what's happened. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. As a pessimist, it's hard not to think the worst, but that was actually quite comfortable in the end. We got Connor. Hello, Connor Matthews. Miles is here. He said Colombia put up a better fight. Steve Hammershark. Hello, Steve. Steve says he's coming home. And hello, Mike Stringer. Wednesday is going to be awesome, he says. Get to a bar or a pub or somewhere with loads of people to cheer us on. He's so proud of Southgate. What an amazing job. Well, that answers my question. I didn't know. It's obviously Wednesday, and Miles thinks it is going to be England versus Croatia, which is a fair shout. The Russians are going to have something to say about that. They've got their own football's coming home thing going on. It's a home World Cup for them. It's been a huge success for all the scaremongering that had gone on before. This World Cup has been a huge success for Russia. It's shown the country in a different light, and they've been very, very welcoming. Errol, who has gone over there, he decided after the last game, Colombia game, to go over to Russia, and he's done it. And he's actually there, and he was at the game today, and he's been tweeting out pictures and whatnot, which is really nice. Very, very pleased for him, actually. Let's go through the team. Let's go through the players, and let's talk about how the team have performed. Let's start with Jordan Pickford. Obviously, started at the back. magnificent. You know, I wouldn't argue. If anybody said Jordan Pickford was man of the match, I wouldn't argue. I think we were better than Sweden. Sweden don't think they attacked as much as us. But when they did, Pickford proved himself to be an excellent shot stopper. He's really, really good. Great choice by Southgate, who we must discuss at the end. If I forget, please do remind me in the chat to discuss Gareth Southgate. But Pickford's wonderful. 2 or 3 exceptionally good saves, and it just stopped any little comeback that the Swedes might have been hoping to have. And as big a reason as anyone else for sending them back, they'll have thought that they'd have had a good World Cup journey. I think Sweden, they've lost Ibrahimovic, and I think some of the Swedish players will probably say they're a better team unit because of it. So, you know, they've done well. They got to a quarter final, but it's us in a semi-final. Next player, Kyle Walker. He played a good game. He did play a good game. I still think it's a little bit suspect at having him there, but I do understand why Gareth Southgate plays him there. Gives us a bit of pace. He's comfortable when the 3 central defenders split, leave Stones in the middle, Maguire and Walker split. And he's more comfortable if he drifts onto the right-hand side. And also he's a really pacey outlet for us if they spring a counter-attack when we are up doing our set plays, which we'll discuss very, very shortly. John Stones in the middle, I think, is growing as a centre-back, which is a funny thing to say for somebody that plays for Man City and costs 50 million. But again, I was impressed with him. We will give up chances. England will always give up chances, I do think. I think because of the way Southgate decided to play, both in the formation and the composition of his midfield, I think they'll always have chances that go against us. But Stones did well, got into a bit of a running battle with Berg, didn't they? But, you know, manned up and tried to niggle. But I've got to say, after playing Colombia, a big respect for Sweden, who just played the game. You know, they didn't try any cheating or any nasty stuff like a lot of the South American teams have done in this World Cup. Now we get on to the big one, which is Harry Maguire. Man of the match, probably, possibly mine. Fantastic. Really, really good. I was tempted to have a bet for him to score. Not the first goal any time, but I didn't do it because I'll go for a bit shorter odds and try and get some money. I had a good one. I won 2 bets on the England game. So I'm well up on that one. So I was pleased. But Harry Maguire, I'd be absolutely astounded if he was still at Leicester City for the start of the season. I think they sold Riyad Mahrez for 60 million. I think they could probably get not far off that. For Harry Maguire, I would expect a big club to come in for him. Certainly, he looks the real deal. He's comfortable on the ball. Very, very good defending. Technically, very good. They gave a foul at the end when he stuck his foot in. I guess technically it was a tackle from behind, but the technique of the tackle was very good. He got all the ball and none of the man. He's very good. And what a danger in the opposition box as well. It wasn't just his goal, but the amount of times the ball came over to him and he headed it back into the danger area for someone else to hold on to or to latch onto was fantastic. Harry Maguire was, as I say, probably my man of the match. Very, very good. Oh, I've got a message coming through. Oh, okay, Mr. B's there. Mr. B wants me to send him a link, so I'm going to do that, which means us coming over to you now, Ian, which means Mr. B's going to come and join me, so we'll just wait for his face to pop up. Mr. B from Cornwall, for those of you that have seen the show before. We'll just wait for Mr. B to come in. Let's go left wing back. Ashley Young. The guy has not proven me wrong, but because I didn't really criticise him too much, but he's proven Gareth Southgate right. His delivery is sensational, and the delivery for the first goal was brilliant. And you can understand why he's in the team. He's done really, really well. And this is the second part of his career, really, when you think about it. Think of the youngster that came onto the scene at Watford. He's having a very, very successful tournament. And for his corners, delivery, set plays alone, is brilliant. When you've got someone like Harry Kane who can win as many fouls as he does, that's a real attribute to have. Did you know Ashley Young went to school with Lewis Hamilton? They were not only in the same school, I think they were in the same year as well. So British Grand Prix this weekend. I don't know who got pole position yet. I don't even know if it's happened yet, but maybe a double bit of success for a couple of young lads from Stevenage. I think possibly they were both from Stevenage. The other wing back, of course, is Kieran Trippier, who was just sensational. What a great player. Again, fantastic deliveries from the right-hand side. He has lots of pace as well. And I think arguably you could probably say he's been our best player throughout all the games in the tournament so far. Just very, very good. Going into the middle, Jordan Henderson had a fantastic game today. An absolutely fantastic game. I thought he showed some additional passing with some real good long-range through balls, covered well, just did very, very well indeed. On that note, we have got Mr. B coming in. Hold on, I'm not listening to anyone. I've got to put my headphones in now. Hello, Ian. How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I'm good, Chris. Thanks. Yeah, especially after that, I'm very good.
Yeah, mate. Well, your initial reaction, mate?
Oh, I was optimistic we'd win anyway, but I didn't think it'd be that professional and that easy. I thought they would have sort of made more of a go of it, the Swedes, particularly just compact the defence, etc., make it harder for us to break through. Excuse me. I think we were quite nervy the first 20 minutes or so. But when those nerves started going away, I was really, really impressed with that performance. That's one of best England performances I can recall seeing for years and years and years and years. Because these teams need to be beaten, and they really did a job of them. Really, really impressive.
Absolutely. If you've obviously been listening, otherwise you wouldn't have known to click in. I was just running through the players, as you probably heard. I think I just finished on Jordan Henderson. Who was your man of the match?
Oh, I'm with you on Maguire. He was immense. But I've got to confess, when I think it was a Hull, wasn't it, before he moved to Leicester, and I didn't think he was that good a defender. But I mean, he's an animal in the box as well. That header was there was going to take no prisoners on that at all. Absolutely awesome. But the whole team, I mean, I couldn't really knock anybody. I mean, the balls that Trippier was putting in, he whipped some lovely crosses in. Stones, I mean, it's going to be quite interesting because last season Stones was a bit part player for Man City. Whether or not Guardiola will play him nigh on every game this season or what, I don't know. But if not, I mean, what a player he's developed into. Just literally across the board. Forward play, I thought Kane, his hold up play and bringing people in was brilliant. Lingard just ran his nuts off. Literally, a couple of saves that Pickford made as well. I mean, literally across the board, man for man, every single one of those was absolutely superb today. Really, really good.
I totally agree. So I want to get your opinions on this sort of set play we're doing in a second. This sort of straight line tactic we got. They're all standing in a line, splitting. Obviously, we've seen a lovely thumping header from John Stones, of course, earlier on in the tournament as well. Before I do that, I just want to jump quickly, just get your thoughts on that, Ian, if you wouldn't mind, mate. I just want to pop quickly back to the live chat and see what everybody is saying. Chris Alfiehammer has donated £1.99. That's very kind of you. That's very, very kind of you, sir. To the old Hammers chat coffers there. Right. What we got? Okay, just go through the comments. Miles has said probably England, Croatia in the semis, as we know. Hammer Down Under. It's Clayton is saying to Hammer Down Under. He was there back in the 70s. Loved it. I guess he's talking about Australia. Just clarify that for me, Clayton. Clayton also says Pickford was excellent. What else have we got here? Miles says keep the same team for the semis. That's a really good shout. How could he sort of change it? Hammer Down Under says Southgate will probably do that as well. Miles thinks Pickford man of the match. Steve Hammershark would love Maguire in our team. Well, who wouldn't? But I certainly think after this World Cup, his price has gone way through the roof. And how could we afford someone like that? I don't think Leicester particularly are people that need to sell on the cheap either, and I can quite see Mr. Sullivan closing out that deal. Felipe Colho, please, Felipe, I do apologise. Right, so anyways, we've got a dead heat between Pickford and Maguire. I think it's Phil McDonald, Big Phil. Hello, Phil. Lots and lots of comments coming through. Hello to you all. Felipe says, does anyone think Croatia will go far? Well, they look technically brilliant. They are what we are not, which is a technical midfield, which I want to get to in a minute anyway. Again, Alfie Hammer, a generous man. Felipe says his man of the match would be Maguire or Sterling. Let's get back onto the players in a second, actually. Steve Hammershark says 16-1 and England to win is looking better and better. Surely can't be 16-1 now. That must have been an earlier bet. You'd think so. Somebody called Very Rancid. He can't understand. I hate Sterling. Sterling ran himself into the ground today. We'll get back to those comments just in a little bit. Just on before we come back to you, Ian, let me just run through the rest of the team. So I've done Henderson. We'll go on to Lingard. Lingard did a lovely delivery for the Dele Alli goal, which I actually think that goal was redemption for both Lingard and Dele Alli. Dele Alli's pass in the first half was absolutely woeful, absolutely terrible. And it would be easy for me to say, unless you're on the forum, there are no witnesses, so I don't need to say it. But I was really screaming for Dele Alli to come off the pitch. His passing was just absolutely terrible. But he was there. He scored a goal, and we all saw how disappointed Dele Alli was to come off at the end. I wasn't really sure what Dele Alli was going to do. In 1966, for those of you that, well, I'm not old. I wasn't born in 1966, but I do know that Sir Ralph Ramsey devised a system which was known as Ramsey's wingless wonders. Now, at the time, the English game was full of wingers, but he actually played with players tucked inside. Our own Martin Peters was one of them. And they were called Ramsey's wingless ones. He decided to go without wingers. I think something similar has happened to Gareth Southgate at the moment. And he has almost decided not to go with a typical playmaker that does long-range passing, just sits and passes from the back. He's gone for someone high energy, like Jordan Henderson. And he's also not gone with a typical number 10, like a Paul Scholes type player. So he's almost sacrificed a lot of that central passing. I said it before, I've said it consistently. It's almost like we have to score goals from crossing, from set plays, corners, or winning a penalty. There's very few slide rule balls going in there, but it does seem to be working. When it's not working, I am quite critical of Jesse Lingard and Dele Alli, but I thought Lingard's ball over to Alli was the redemption of those two players. Leaves us only with Harry Kane, who I thought sacrificed himself. Wonderful. I think it's goal scorers want to score all the time, but I think Harry Kane just seems to be of that character. Almost he wouldn't have minded that he didn't score today. He'll be confident he'll score in the semi-finals. He'll be confident he'll score in the final if we got there. But I think he played a captain's performance. He draws the fouls well, and he worked tirelessly. The other player that worked tirelessly was Raheem Sterling, who ran him ragged and was an absolute danger. He just needs something to go for him. The problem with Sterling is he lacks that wonderful bit of quality for a beautiful bit of ball control, a beautiful final pass, a cross, or a shot. He is high energy, and he's not saying his ball control's crap, but it's not at the top level like the top guys. It's just that final little bit of skill, as I say, bit of pass, a cross, a shot, just eludes him. But the Swedish centre-backs will have known they've been in the game today, and that is because of the combination between Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. Mr B, tell us about these set plays that we're doing, mate.
Well, it's obviously there's something they're definitely working on the training pitch, and I don't know if you caught the interview with Kane and Maguire at the end of it. And Maguire kind of alluded to the Dele Alli goal that was a dinked little cross-field ball that they've been working on in training. And it's obviously something that Southgate is really, really working on. He's such an astute manager. I think he has sussed out that there's great opportunity with some of the units that we've got in our side, like Maguire and Stones, and that there is opportunity to get goals from set pieces. And I think just go back into what you were saying about sort of Lingard and Sterling. Again, I thought both of them played well. Sterling, yeah, you're right. It's an end product thing. But I think there's also a confidence thing with him as well. And I think maybe Southgate's gone for those two, because if you look at the way they play for their club sides, they score a lot of goals coming in from that sort of deeper position, just playing off of the front man, pretty much like we're set up. And they've been banging them in for their club most of the season. And I think when that clicks as well, we could even take it onto yet another level. But so going back to the set pieces, I think it's really impressive to actually see a team that is that organised, and also organised the other end. We defend set pieces pretty well as well. But back and front, I think Southgate is really, really doing a cracking job. Him and his coaching staff.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I mean, I think I think they've got a coach, Steve Round there. That might be his name. We should all know it by now because actually it's turning into a bit of a national treasure, isn't he? Really, who are devising these tactics. And Sweden are a big team. In fact, the one thing I was worried about is that we wouldn't be able to outdo them with set plays because that's really what they're good at. They're big, they're organised, two banks of four, they're hard to pass through, and also they're hard to score headers against them. And we scored two headers. I think for too long, the header has been a dirty word, and it's quite funny because Southgate has been credited with this sort of metamorphosis of playing a more modern game and a possession game. But actually, I think we're playing more English than ever. We are winning with crosses, penalties, and headers. And that's and tap-ins and stuff like that. You look at the Tunisia game as well. We're not playing like Brazil. We're really not. We are playing an English game. We're playing a Premier League game, if you like, but almost a Premier League game as if you've taken out the silky foreigners. There's no David Silva, there's no Fabregas, or there's no anyone else doing that stuff. But it is working. I mean, I daren't ask the question, Ian, but I think you know what I'm going to say. Are we in with a shout here or what?
To coin the most typical phrase in football, it's got to be one game at a time. I mean, there's 4 teams left, or there will be after tonight, 4 teams left. Every one of those 4 teams on paper has got a shot at it. I think I never like preempting things. It's always like the kiss of death, which is why when the penalties were on the other night, I took the dogs out for a walk because if I'd have watched them, we'd have lost. But I think irrespective of if we get Croatia or Russia, they're both beatable, and then it's a cup final. It's a 90-minute game, so theoretically we could do it, but I'm not counting any chickens yet because I think being a West Ham supporter, it's just ingrained in you that something's going to go wrong right to death. But no, hopefully, I'm looking forward to tonight's game actually because I think again on paper Croatia, you'd say they're a better team, they're a more fluid team. But Russia, with the support behind them, they're going to be up for it. And personally, I'd actually like to see an England-Russia semi. That'd have a nice little bit of spice to it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. And they've got every chance, Russia. I mean, Croatia look the better team. There's no doubt about it. They've got a midfield, as I've said, that is the polar opposite of ours. It's all technique. But Russia, that home advantage has got to be worth something. That feel-good factor in the country. I think Russians have been, because of everything that's happened, without going too politically, and because of the thing in Crimea, because of the Ukraine, because of really they got a war with the European Union going on, because of the the poisonings and all that stuff. I think the national identity, they've probably taken quite a beating. But I think this has given them a certain bit of national pride back. And I just think that's worth a lot. You see people that are walking around there. The Russians are very welcoming. The Russians are very accommodating. And they put on a hell of a show. I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for Qatar to match this. And the fact that it will be held in the winter as well. But you always associate Russia with snow and all that. It's been sunny. It's been beautiful out there. I think this World Cup will go down in memory, not just because of England, but even to take England out of the equation, all the other countries as well, will go down in memory as a very, very successful thing. And that's got to be worth a lot when you're playing in a in a quarter final with the offer of a semi-final up for grabs. There's a chance, mate. There's a chance. Let me just pop and see what everybody is saying in the chat room. Are they still called chat rooms? You know what I mean. Steve, what we got? Steve Hammershark said he didn't want Dele Alli to start, slated him during the game, so he's bound to score. I did the same thing. If you were to look on the forum, hammerschat.com, up there, if you go on the match thread, Sweden v England match thread, you'll see that I'm calling for him to go off and Loftus-Cheek to come on. So you're not the only one guilty of that. In fact, Steve, are you the same Hammershark that is on the forum? Let me know, mate. I'd be interested to know. So what else have we got here? Felipe said Pickford produced a remarkable performance. Phil said surprise of the tournament for me, a Trippier, Lingard and Maguire. He said he thinks everybody knew Pickford was a decent keeper, but he is more than that. Sterling's movement is outstanding, Phil thinks, but he's a headless chicken when he's in the red zone. Thinks he gets a bit of a nosebleed, certainly. Lots and lots of comments here. Southgate has his squad playing as a team, says Clayton. Kojo says France, Belgium are on a different level. I think France are, certainly. That is a balanced midfield. That is a balanced midfield. So like Jordan Henderson sits in front of the back four, back three, whatever. Sort of 7 for passing, 7 for speed, 7 for tackling, 7 out of 10 for lots of things. France has got a different way. Kante, 10 for interceptions and stuff like that. Pogba, 10 for long-range passing. Griezmann, 10, being a number 10, if you like, for dropping, playing those slide rule passes. The composition, I don't know, they managed to make the Tweedy quite successful wherever he's playing. It's quite odd, he drifts to the left, but they have a real balance to their team. They've got Mbappe, who's got the speed. Giroud can come on if they want to go long and head it on. There's a real quality. The fullbacks are good, and as are the centre backs. Obviously, they've got world-class goalkeeper. France really are. So I do understand what he says, Kojo, about them being on another level. With Belgium, I always like to think the Martinez team can be done tactically, although he's had a good World Cup. What else have we got? Pickford's excellent shot stopper. But he is still not convinced. Sorry, this is Fortune Underground. He's not still not convinced he's mastered the rest of the art of goalkeeping, just a shot stopping. Novichok, says Kojo. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Just be fantastic to be in the World Cup final, says Steve. Yes, it bloody well would, mate. Hammer Down Under says, if England play Russia, what are the odds on Putin's goons poisoning the food and water in England's hotel? Oh dear, I was trying to mention it to start off with. Nisse Nielsen. I sound Swedish. I guess he's a Swede. Says, congrats England, you have a great team. That's very kind of you, my friend. Very kind of you indeed. England number 1 says, sing us a rendition, fans of England fans in Moscow. Well, singing goes too well. There's a little bit in me stopping me from doing all that. I still find it hard to quite believe that it is coming home, mate. So I'm going to keep my powder dry. If we win, I'll sing lots. I promise you. I absolutely promise you. Hammer Down said, I said it again, Sterling couldn't score. A monkey brothel. There we go. Nisei says, yes, he's Swedish. Hello there, mate. Thanks for joining us. And there we go. There we go. Lots and lots of other comments going on there, and we welcome them all. Mr B, you still there?
Still here, mate. Yep, still here.
Good man. Good man. You been having a flutter? Have you had a flutter on the World Cup? Have you?
I have. Yeah, I've actually had 2 flutters on the World Cup, France and Belgium. So I've got one in the final.
Yes, yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Did you do that? Get the odds before? Did you do it at the start?
Yeah. I think I got something like 12-1 for Belgium. So, and I also had I had Maguire to score with a header today.
33-1.
No, I think it was about 25.
I'm sorry, 33 was on first goal scorer. Okay. You're happy then?
No, because I lost about 3 others.
Oh, did you? I did all right. I did 2. What is it? I've actually had to give when I do this, I have to close most of my windows down. But I had Sweden not to keep a clean sheet, and I put 50 odd quid on that, which is quite a big bet. But I'm sick of doing the long bets. I'm doing bets that yield a little bit more of a return. So I won 25 quid on it. I've got £72 back. And I also had another one. So I had a free bet with in fact, I'm not going to tell you I bet. I'm going to tell you who I bet with because they're not paying me to do so. So bet with who you want. But I got a £5 free bet, and I put that on the game being over 1.5 goals. So I got another £5 back on that. So I've done all right. I'm up a little bit. I don't never gamble big amounts. Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit of a wimp, to be fair. A bit too much of a wimp for doing that sort of thing. Right. Okay. Right. That's that. Let's just have a little talk now. You said you bet on France and you said you bet on Belgium. if we were to play them now, and I know I'm preempting it, blah, 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 arrogant Englishman and all the rest of it. If we were to obviously get to the final and face one of those two, do you think, as the, I think his name was Kojo in the chat said, they are a million miles better than us?
They are. There's certain areas of the pitch where they're definitely better than us. No two ways about it, irrespective of who you look at. But I think if we can get through to a final, particularly if we got Belgium, for example, because there's so many English-based players, I think in that game yesterday, I was counting them in the lineup, and I think 8 of the 11 play or have played in the Premiership. And I think it's going to be very much like a Premier. If it was Belgium, very much like a Premier League game. And I think we know enough about them that we could actually potentially like nullify Belgium. I think France a little bit different. And Mbappe like would scare the life out of me. I mean, he's so quick, and like you were saying, they've got all the right people in all the right places. I mean, Pogba looks a different player playing for France than he did for Man U. He's back to like how he was playing at Juve, and so much time on the ball, running, and he's bizarre because he doesn't look like he's moving, but he just like flies past people, and his long range passing is good. I mean, centre midfield, brilliant. And if they've got Matuidi back, he's another player I really rate again for his work rate. Doesn't do anything spectacular, but he's such a safe pair of hands or safe pair of feet on the left hand side. And you look at Umtiti and Varane at the back. They're good. The two wing backs. I mean, I've got questions. Never even heard of them before this game. And Andy Sam was all right, but that Pavard looks some player. And obviously that goal he scored, he can larrup a ball from outside the defence as well.
Yeah, but apparently he's normally a centre back. He's normally a centre back for his club, apparently.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? So they've got good people to come off the bench as well. So I would be quite worried about France, but I would be actually rooting for Belgium to win that semi and us to face Belgium in the final. If we got that, then I'd say we stand a chance.
Yeah.
It's a one-off game, so you never know.
And I agree. Well, once it gets down to 4 teams, we do have a chance. You don't have to be the best team. It's not a Premier League season. Over the course of a Premier League season, the best team wins. Cup football ain't like that. Cup football is not like, you don't even have to be the best team. I've just got to say, hello, Billy, mate, on the forum has actually told me that Hamilton got pole. So maybe a good weekend. Yesterday, England beat India at the 2020 cricket. You're not a cricket fan. India are the world's best cricket team by a country mile, but England are pretty good at limited overs game at the moment. So it seems to be maybe one of those weekends. Maybe a little flutter on Hamilton to win. But I tell you what, it's always a funny one of the F1 because he's not just a man, is he? An engine breaks down and your bet has gone, isn't it? Let's just go over to the live chat just quickly. Okojo again says, who would you rather play, Russia or Croatia? Clayton's answered Croatia. I wouldn't. I'd rather play Russia. For all I said about a bit of national fervour and whatnot, I do think Croatia are the better team. But Kojo hopes Modric gets injured, but it is Rakitic, it's Kovacic, and anyone else that ends in an itch, isn't it? Are always very, very dangerous. Certainly. Good. Well, there's lots of. Sorry, Fortean Underground says Pavard's a centre back, writing in how good he is at fullback, which is what you were just saying, Ian. Yeah, and I think is Hernandez a Real Madrid player? Is that right? The left back. I've got that right. Does he play for Real Madrid?
Not
He's
sure.
on loan somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it's someone I know. There's smarter people than me in the live chat. That's for sure. Just finally, he brought Dyer off the bench again, but he also brought Delph on, Ian. And I thought he did well when he came on. I think possibly in central midfield, he is possibly technically our best player in terms of passing. He retains the ball better than most. Gave us a bit of balance on the left-hand side as well, because we are quite just unbalanced generally, really. Lot of right-footers in the team, certainly. Would you change anything for the next game, Ian, or would you keep that team exactly the same? I think I know what you're going to say.
I think I'd stick with a winning team. I'd like to see some changes, but I don't think he will. And as well as they've all played today, and I'm not going to knock any one of them, I still would like. I know he's another top, but I still like to see somebody like Rose in there, who's naturally on his left foot, where Ashley Young has always got that check inside. And sometimes it does prevent a free-flowing move. But no, he's going to stick with a winning team. No doubts about it. But I think what is good is that you've got people like Delph who can come off the bench and just slot straight in there. He didn't need time to adjust. He was straight up to the speed of the game. And I think, there's quite a lot of people on that bench that could just go in and do a job. So, it's all testament to the squad he's picked as well. Not just the 11. He's got he's got a good squad to choose from.
Ian, have you seen the general chat at all? Hello,
sorry,
Ian. Did you cut out a bit there, mate? Have you seen the general chat at all?
No, mate. No, I'm looking that
up. Hammer Down Under, he says, does Mr B own a wardrobe?
No, I live in a caravan.
There's a nice selection of clothes and hangers there, mate, but we're definitely missing a bit of a wardrobe at the back. Not that I can speak. I'm under the stairs at the moment. So there you go. And on that, I'm going to thank you for joining me, mate, because I think I'm going to cook a bit of dinner now, and I'm going to get and watch this, if I can get away and watch this game in the afternoon. The boy wants, he's feeling the football fever. He's got a little career on FIFA, and he wants me to jump on the career with him. So I'm going to have a couple of games of FIFA, cook a bit of dinner, and then we're going to watch the game and see how our next opponents will be. Thanks for joining me, mate.
No worries at all. My pleasure.
And we'll see you next time. And thank you very much, everyone that's joined me in the live chat. Greg Thomas has just come on just as we're leaving, but thanks for joining us, Greg. Hopefully this one will upload and you can watch it back if you want to. And that's it. We're happy. We're delighted. I would say I am cautiously delighted. It's just hard. Hard to believe. There's lots of people are believing. I know I'm going to turn on the telly in a minute and there's going to be people throwing. It's going to show like Sky Sports News does. It shows where all the matches have taken place, the post-match reactions and all the beers flying everywhere. Everyone's getting soaked. Everyone's going to be singing Football's Coming Home. Everyone's going to be doing little clips of famous films where they're saying Football's Coming Home and all this sort of stuff. So Chris Alfie Hammer, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your £1.99 donation, my friends. It's I may well celebrate. I'll tell you what I'll do. Next time I see Mr. B or Mike, I'm going to buy him half a pint with that. Thanks for joining us. I'll do one after the next game. It's next Wednesday, as long as it's not at 3 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll be at work. It's terrible, won't it? Hopefully, it's at 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Enjoy it. It's at 7 o'clock. My wife is telling me it's at 7 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy what's left of the sunshine. Take care. Thank you very much, Mr. B. See you soon, mate.